Price gouging. The history of unaccountable U.S. weapons spending stretches back decades, but it's getting renewed attention.
We wondered why the Pentagon is finding it hard to procure weapons it needs at a price taxpayers can afford. It has less to do with foreign entanglements than domestic ones, what can only be described as price gouging by U.S. defense contractors.
This is a chronic issue, and evidence of overcharging is publicly available. It's easy to find if you're looking.
Sources I've spoken with are trying to sound the alarm about the exorbitant costs that are being passed on to taxpayers by defense companies. Take, for example, this conduit from the P-3 plane, operated by the Navy for more than 50 years at this point. How much do you think it costs? The Navy paid Lockheed Martin $14,000 per unit. Or how about a trash can for the E-3 Sentry radar plane that cost $52,000?
And the main factor that drives this egregious overcharging? The U.S. arms industry is effectively a near monopoly. The 51 major weapons firms that existed in the 1990s now number 5. And last year, those giant firms split $118 billion in Pentagon contracts. Now, these firms make most of the bombs, missiles, combat aircraft, tanks, and other major weapons the U.S. government buys with taxpayer money, which gives the Pentagon limited leverage when it tries to negotiate reasonable prices or hold contractors to account for cost overruns and shoddy work. Now, the latest media interest has compelled some members of Congress to call for accountability, but Congress itself is too often enthralled to the money and lobbying power of the arms business.
Well, Eisenhower called it the military-industrial complex, but if you look at the way it works, it should really be called the military-industrial congressional complex, because Congress is equally complicit with the contractors, with the military, in letting these overcharges occur, in not holding the companies accountable for poor performance, for putting weapons in the budget the Pentagon didn't even ask for. It helps them politically. It puts money in their districts, it gets campaign contributions. So there's a lot of financial incentives for Congress to not really do its job.
Price gouging by arms companies not only wastes money, but it also puts our security at risk by increasing the chances that Pentagon weapons systems will be overpriced, underperforming, and never fully ready for combat. Add that dynamic to an overreaching military strategy, and you've got a recipe for disaster for our economy and security alike.